everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the second tutorial of my I'm making two looks based off of the cover of An Honored Vow by Melissa Blair. This is the goal for the second look. The orangey lines are supposed to be gold. I just got a new mic, so I was gonna film this as just a no speaking tutorial, but I want to see how this new mic is. I had gotten a mic from my ex 6 years ago for Christmas. It was like the only nice thing he ever bought me, and I used the fuck out of that mic. And then it died the other day. Well, it not died, but as I was recording, nothing is wrong with the mic. It's placed exactly how it's supposed to be. It would just start popping. So I got this new mic, and I think it sounds great. What do I want to yap about today? So my life has been a little busy the last 2 weeks. Not saying that my life isn't normally busy, but it just feels like things have been very, very, very busy recently. The really exciting, I guess, like life update is that I wrote this play titled Oversteegen about the Oversteegen sisters, and I've talked about it on here before. So I had a developmental reading in January 2024, and that went really well. It was my first time ever hearing any of my writing out loud in that way, like in a space. I've written a screenplay before, and it's gotten some like buzz, I guess. It's won a few like awards. It's placed a few times. When I would do readings of that, it would happen over Zoom because it was pretty much like a COVID endeavor. It's been on the back burner for a little bit. So hearing that developmental reading was the first time I had ever heard my work like in front of me with an audience. My dad came in from New Jersey, happened in New York. It was really great, and I had a really incredible cast, and I learned a lot from it. And I have my best friend, Elise, you all know her. She's like my director, so she directed it, and from it came a massive rewrite. And then I just started submitting it places because that's kind of how you gotta do it. And I was able to be a part of a festival where they pretty much gave me the space, and they were like, you gotta fund it, but we'll give you the space, which in New York, like, that's expensive. And also, like, I got a social media post, which was nice. So I had that reading, and I had invited a theater company to that reading because they had seen a previous draft, like an early draft, like the one I had at the developmental reading, and you know. So they came and saw the rewrite and were really, really happy with it, and they had an award, so they, you know, let me submit for the award, and that's the award I got. So I learned about it a month ago, and the reading was yesterday. It was great because it was in New Jersey, so my family could go. But I was really nervous about it the whole time. I was really nervous about it because, I don't know, I think the most amount of people at like the reading in August, there was like 20, no, that's, maybe there was like 30 people. And for this one, there was like 100 people. And this space, like, the people who had registered, they were from all different walks of life, but like an older demographic than I'm used to. So I wasn't sure how they would receive the play. With the political times we're in, it's a very anti-fascist, as it should be, play. But it ended up being really, really good. And I feel really good about it. Like, it went better than I could have ever expected. Because I had, like, you know, they told me to do some little rewrites I could do, and I was reading the play and I was like, is this bad? Like, you know, when you get those doubts about your work, I was like, am I gonna have this reading and realize like my work actually isn't that good? And when I saw it in August, because I sat in the back while it happened, I remember like at some point I forgot I wrote the play and I forgot what happened, and I was just able to be along for the journey, and I thought that was like really great. But there was like way more pressure with this one because it's an award winner. People are coming to see it more than just like my friends and family. There's a bit of vulnerability in all of that. They were like laughing at places that I thought was funny, but I didn't know if anyone else would think was funny. Like, it was exactly what I needed. I needed to hear the script out loud. I think there are still some rewrites cooking, but I'm really proud of where it is. I'm really proud of myself, which is a weird thing. I'm not usually someone who's like really proud of themselves. I do my best, but I have really high standards for myself, and I feel like I never meet those standards. So I felt like really prideful. I I had a talk back and it went really well, and people just came up to me after and just thanked me. The play, I feel like, and what weird thing, I was walking to work today and I was like, I think I finally like realized how I can like, how to market myself, because I was like, well, I don't just want to be like a niche writer. Like I want to write things that I'm really passionate about, and what I'm really passionate about is history, and I think that's my niche. I'm writing another play surrounding the My Lai massacre, which I did a TikTok on, and I'll upload here eventually. I've read a bunch of articles. I read a bunch of military press releases now. But what really drew me to that storyline, what stuck with me, which made me think like I should write a play about this, is it happened in 1968, and nobody knew about it for a year and a half. They just covered it up. And it was because of one man who heard about it through like the grapevine and decided, I'm going to look into this, and then corroborated and realized like this happened, and then wrote to senators like, if it wasn't for him, we would have never known it happened. And if it wasn't for these two women and their resistance, we don't know where we would be in the world. And I love the idea of resistance in that way, like seeing the visual choice of I could leave this alone or I could do something about it, and just the power of one person. I think right now in the political sphere in the United States, like I feel like the power of collectivism has been under attack, and we've been very individualistic. And in that way, like when individualism thrives, I do not feel like we can actually make real substantial change, because we need collectivism, we need a collective attitude, we need to believe that we all can work together to better the world. And so I just want to highlight stories like these. I also do want to bring awareness to lesser known history. Obviously the My Lai massacre is, I don't think a lot of people know about it. It's not something you learn in like the traditional history K through 12 in the United States narrative. You learn about the Vietnam War, but more just about like guerrilla, like it's the Tet Offensive, and this was a direct result of the Tet Offensive. So I think Vietnam fascinates me in that, and I made a TikTok about this, but I feel like Vietnam, they called it the television war because it's the first time that TV crews were in Vietnam live streaming essentially like the war. And it gave people like unfiltered, unpropagandized views of the government, of the military, of what we were actually doing, because prior to that, it was all just curated everything from the military, from the government. And a lot of people like open their eyes and realize like, oh, I don't think we're the good guys here. And that's why, you know, protesting happened. It was an unpopular war and we left. Like, we didn't win Vietnam. And I was taking a 1960s class, and we had the archives of one of the senators from around that time at the university I was at, and I got to read some of the letters that people were sending to her about tiger traps and about all these things, and I was like, I've never learned about this. So I was on a Hassan Piker stream because I am a Hassanabi head, and he was talking about the My Lai massacre, and I googled it and I took a screenshot for me to look at it later. And then I kind of got into a rabbit hole, which always happens with me when it comes to history, and I couldn't stop learning about it, fascinated by why people do what they do. So that's my next endeavor of a play, because I think there's a big lesson out of it, which is the power of one person, the power of one voice. And even if we may feel like individually we can't do anything, individually we have so much power. Overseeing is my first, and I do think the play's story has a lot of relevance right now about resistance, about, you know, doing what's right even when it's hard, about the power that we all hold, and to just like not be a bystander. Like when you see something that's wrong, speak up and act out about it, because one person's, they can change the course of history. I'm gonna get to the talking through part of this tutorial, so it's not just yapping. So here's the image. I stopped buying makeup, like eyeshadow palettes, 2 years ago. That's so dramatic. I bought a Dennis Mark palette. But I say all this to say, My choice of greens is limited to what I own, and surprisingly, I don't own all that many green things. I do think the closest thing I'm going to have is a mix of this old Kathleen Lights palette and this ColourPop palette. They're both ColourPop palettes, but man, Kathleen Lights, whenever she came out with a ColourPop palette, it was the best thing that ever happened. Like, the colors are insane, so beautiful. I miss that era of Kathleen Lights. We're going to start with this like baby, almost minty green. We're going to pop that right in the crease and not go too heavy with it. This is really, again, like just like a transition shade. All right, now we're just gonna deepen this. This is gonna be, I think, the base green. So we're gonna throw this in the crease to start, blend it into that almost minty green. And we're not really putting a lot of pressure when we do this. Very light pressure on the brush. And then I'm just gonna take that same shade we put in the crease and just start to build it on the lid. Make this the base shade for the look going forward. We're also gonna pull this and kind of blow it out quite a bit underneath. I've been loving doing that lately. We're gonna blow it out underneath as well because it gives us more space to play, and that's kind of what I want to do. Have I started reading the book yet? No, I'm finishing up a book series, and the last book has like, and I'm not even kidding, I think like 1,100 pages. I think I'm about 300 pages into it, which is really good, considering I haven't really been reading much. I was actually reading the book when I was like, I should sit down and film this makeup look. I've just been having a very weird day, and I came home with the intention of like, I'm just gonna do some makeup today, and I just felt like really, really tired. Like, yesterday was so great with the reading, but I'm just so exhausted by all of it. It's a good reminder to me to just like, it's okay. It's okay to take it easy, but I was like, I have this makeup sitting on the ground so that I can do something with it. I should do something with it. I'm taking this Peridot shade from the Kathleen Lights palette. It's a shimmer shade, and I'm gonna put that on top of it to give it more of this like vibrant foresty green, which you see in the cover. I'll pull the cover down in a second. But I'm not gonna concentrate it a lot. I'm really just going to blend it and blend it up, kind of diffuse it, like so. And then we're gonna pull a little bit of that on our lower lash area. This was the color I'm kind of going for, and I think I achieved that with all the things that I own, so look at that. The next part is some liner work. So I've been really, really loving this liner color lately. It's Dark Rose from Gavese Beauty. And I'm also going to take this cut creaser liner by this brand that they just renamed their whole thing, so whatever. But it's the cut creaser collab liners. And then I have this antique gold color. I think I'm going to do the big winged liner first. And then the goal for the wing liner is, if you can see over here, I did write some little, I'm going to call them glyphs. They're not glyphs, but like little markings. Because the first one worked out so well for me, I thought, let me do that again. I'm gonna make this a bit thicker than my typical wing liner because I want to put those little markings on it. Am I good at wing liner now? We're gonna get another brush and we're going with the gold, and I had an idea to put one right up top, one right in the bottom. I'm doing the gold because Kira's eyes are gold. And we're gonna add a little bit of gold. Right. So that's most of the liner, like that's honestly most of the look. We're just gonna take a really, really tiny brush, the same really, really tiny brush we used in the last video. Again, I got these from they're now called Gavizi. When I bought them, they were Glam Vice Cosmetics. I'm taking this like kind of brighter red because the red sword, has a few different shades of red. So I just want to pay homage to all the different shades of red. The little indentations on the inner corner side over here didn't really work the way I was expecting them to. But over here, they are. I'm very happy with how this turned out. It's a little different than I envisioned, but that's okay. We go with the flow. We're gonna do brows. I'm gonna do them off camera to save myself a little battery. For lashes, I'm actually going to use the High Impact Mascara from Clinique in the shade Black Honey. I bought this on a whim, pre my no-buy, and I love it so much that I did purchase another one for my backups. I just love the dimension that this color mascara brings to my eyes. I think it's so fun. And it's made me way more creative. This mascara is also the same color as the main red liner that we used. Now for lips. I have pulled a bright red lip. Do I think it still goes with this look? Let's try it. I can always pivot if I don't like it. I'm using one of these $2 e.l.f. Cream Glide lip liners. The best $2 lip liner. Don't know if it's the vibe I want, but I can change it when I put down the lipstick because I have a matching lipstick. Might be a little darker actually. No, kind of the same shade. I don't hate it. I'm just gonna grab a brown lip liner and just give it a little bit more dimension. Okay guys, this is the completed look. Let's look at what my sketch was. This was the idea I had, and this is what it looks like in reality. I think it came out pretty good overall. I say that every time, like thinking I'm not gonna do good makeup, but I do good makeup every time. So yeah, that is this like mini chatty talk through Yappy tutorial. I don't know. I'm just doing whatever videos I kind of like seeing, and I really like seeing people just talk about their life. I think right now a lot of things seem really fake when people talk about their like life in like a general, real way. I really enjoy that kind of content. So anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone.